The hum of my sewing machine was my heartbeat, the scent of silk and coffee my oxygen. My studio, a cramped loft in New York's garment district, was my sanctuary where I, Cassandra Blake, poured my soul into fabric. At 30, I was on the cusp of something monumental. Paris Fashion Week had chosen me to headline, a chance to etch my name in an industry that devoured dreamers. My collection, inspired by my late mother's love of abstract art, was a tapestry of vibrant hues and daring silhouettes, my heart stitched into every seam. But doubt, my constant shadow, whispered, "You're not good enough." I called Nina Voss, my best friend since our college days at FAT, to share the news. She squealed over the phone, her voice bright but brittle. "Cass, this is huge. You're going to slay." Nina was a model, her beauty undeniable, but her career had stalled, relegated to catalog shoots while I chased the spotlight. I sensed a flicker of something in her tone, envy perhaps, but dismissed it. Nina was my rock, the one who'd cheered me through every rejection. Dominic Reed, my mentor and a fashion legend, called next, his voice a velvet command. "Cassandra, this is your moment," he said. "Don't let anyone steal it." Dominic had discovered me at a student showcase, his approval a golden ticket. His own career, though, was whispered to be tainted, rumors of him crushing young designers to stay on top. I pushed the thought aside. He was my guide, my beacon. Evan Marsh, the investor bankrolling my show, arrived at the studio, his presence all polished charm and expensive cologne. "Your designs are unique," he said, flipping through my sketches with a calculated smile. "But they need tweaking, more commercial appeal." His suggestions felt like orders, and I bristled. My collection was personal, a tribute to Mom, not a mass-market product. I nodded politely, but my gut churned. Tessa Gray, my seamstress and confidant, caught my eye as she pinned a dress form. "He's trouble," she whispered, her hands steady but her voice firm. Tessa had another warning. Lydia Kane, a rival designer with a reputation for ruthlessness, had been spotted near the studio. "She's got spies everywhere," Tessa said, her eyes scanning the room. Lydia's brand, all sleek minimalism, was the antithesis of mine, and her success was built on stepping over others. I shrugged it off, but unease settled in. That night, disaster struck. I opened my laptop to find a fashion blog post showcasing one of my designs, a crimson gown with hand-stitched embroidery, credited to Lydia Kane. The caption crowed about her innovative vision. My phone buzzed with notifications, colleagues, critics, even strangers accusing me of plagiarism. My heart sank. How had Lydia gotten my design? I called Nina, my voice shaken. "Did you see this? She stole my work." Nina gasped, promising to dig into it, but her words felt rehearsed, her pause too long. I stormed to the studio where Tessa was already sorting fabric. She pointed to Nina's bag left behind from a visit. Inside I found a USB drive with my design files. My stomach twisted. Had Nina betrayed me? Dominic arrived, his presence commanding. "This is industry noise, Cassandra," he said, dismissing the leak. "Focus on the show." His nonchalance rattled me, but I nodded, clinging to his authority. As I locked up, I caught Nina texting furiously outside, her expression guarded. The spotlight was mine, but it was already casting shadows. The studio felt like a battlefield, my sketches scattered like casualties. The leaked gown was everywhere. Blogs, social media, even a magazine spread crediting Lydia. My reputation was unraveling, and I couldn't shake the image of Nina's USB drive. I confronted her at our favorite cafe, the clink of cups a stark contrast to the storm in my chest. "Did you leak my design?" I asked, sliding the USB across the table. Nina's eyes widened, tears welling. "Cass, I'd never hurt you. she said, her voice breaking. I borrowed your drive for a portfolio, but I didn't share anything. Her denial was passionate, but her hands trembled, and I left, doubt gnawing at me. Dominic summoned me to his Manhattan office, a shrine to his legacy, awards, photos with icons, a runway's worth of ego. You're letting this distract you, he said, leaning back in his leather chair. Evan's funding is your lifeline. Align with his vision, or you're out. His tone was sharp, and I sensed a threat. I pushed back, insisting on my collection's integrity, but he waved me off. Don't be naive, Cassandra. This is business. His words stung, and I wondered if his mentorship was more about control than support. Tessa, ever vigilant, found a hidden camera tucked behind a studio mirror, its lens pointed at my drafting table. Lydia's work, she said, yanking it out. We traced its signal to a server linked to Kane Designs, but not before another design, a sapphire dress with feather accents, appeared online, again credited to Lydia. The press turned vicious, calling me a fraud, a copycat. My inbox filled with hate, and buyers pulled out, spooked by the controversy. I felt like I was drowning. Desperate, I hacked into Evan's email, a risky move, but Tessa knew a tech friend who owed her a favor. The emails were damning. Evan was funneling my designs to Lydia, promising her a cut if she tanked my show. He stood to profit from her brand's rise, using my failure as leverage. I printed the emails, my hands shaking with rage, but I needed more to expose them. Nina offered to model for free, a peace offering after our fight. I hesitated but agreed, needing her talent. At a fitting, I caught her slipping a sketch into her bag, claiming it was inspiration for her portfolio. My trust shattered. Was she working with Lydia, or was I paranoid? Tessa urged me to focus, helping me lock my designs in a safe, but the damage was done. The show was 3 weeks away, and I was losing allies. Dominic's past surfaced in a gossip column, whispers of him sabotaging a young designer years ago, driving her to ruin. I confronted him, my voice steady despite my fear. Is it true? I asked. He sighed, admitting to tough choices, but insisting he was clean now. I believe in you, Cassandra, he said, but his eyes were cold. I left, questioning his loyalty. At a preview event, Lydia sauntered in, her smirk a blade. Nice try, Blake, she said loud enough for buyers to hear. But you're out of your league. Her taunt lit a fire in me. I vowed to fight, no matter the cost. Tess and I worked late, sketching in secret, hiding our progress. The industry was a snake pit, but I wasn't ready to be its prey. The studio was a crime scene. I arrived at dawn to find my collection in ruins, dresses slashed, fabrics soaked in ink, beads scattered like broken dreams. The vandalism was personal, a dagger to my soul. I sank to the floor, tears burning my eyes. Fashion Week was 10 days away, and half my work was gone. I wanted to quit, to crawl back to obscurity, but Tessa knelt beside me, her voice fierce. You're Cassandra Blake, she said. You don't break. Her faith was a lifeline, pulling me from despair. I called the police, but the cameras had been disabled. No evidence, no leads. Dominic arrived, surveying the wreckage with a frown. This is your fault, Cassandra, he said. You didn't secure the studio. His blame cut deep, but I noticed his glance at the ruined dresses, almost satisfied. Was he involved? I pushed the thought aside, but doubt festered. Nina showed up, her face pale. I messed up, Cass, she confessed, her voice trembling. I leaked the crimson gown. I was jealous. Your star was rising and mine was stuck. But I didn't do this. Her admission hurt, but her tears were real. I forgave her, needing allies, but kept her at arm's length. Trust was a luxury I couldn't afford. Evan called, his tone slick. No collection, no show, he said. Use Lydia's designs, and I'll keep funding you. It was a power play, and I saw red. I met him at his office, my phone recording. You're working with Lydia, I said, laying out the emails. He laughed unfazed. To prove it or sign the contract. I refused. The recording my ace. He'd underestimated me. Lydia crashed my next preview, spreading lies to buyers. Cassandra's washed up, she sneered, her voice carrying. I held my ground, but the damage was done. More buyers backed out. Tessa, digging through studio trash, found a receipt for ink matching the vandalism, traced to Dominic's assistant. My heart sank. Dominic, my mentor, was betraying me. I confronted him, showing the receipt. He admitted to tipping Lydia about my designs, claiming it was to toughen me. You needed to learn, he said. I walked away, done with his games. Nina and Tessa rallied, helping me rebuild. We worked through the night, sewing new dresses, tweaking designs to outshine Lydia's. Nina's guilt fueled her effort, her needle flying as she apologized again. Tessa coordinated suppliers, her energy infectious. I locked the studio tight, paranoid but determined. The show was my last stand, and I wouldn't let them win. Fashion Week dawned, a glittering beast ready to crown or crush me. I was exhausted but alive, my new collection a phoenix risen from the ashes. Nina, Tessa, and I had poured everything into it. Sleepless nights, raw hands, and a fire that refused to die. The show was my battlefield, and I was ready. Backstage, I faced Lydia, her smirk faltering when she saw my resolve. You're finished, Blake, she said, but her voice wavered. I ignored her, focusing on the models, Nina among them, her poise a silent apology. Dominic tried to approach, his face contrite, but I cut him off. You're done here, I said, my voice steel. He left, his legacy tarnished. Evan arrived, expecting me to fold. Instead, I handed the event organizer my recording of his threat, along with the emails tying him to Lydia. The organizer, a veteran of industry drama, banned Evan from the venue and alerted the press. Lydia's face paled as whispers spread. She was exposed, her brand tainted. I'd turned their weapon against them. The lights dimmed, and the runway came alive. My collection, bold, vibrant, unmistakably mine, dazzled the crowd. Nina strode out, her grace commanding, and the applause was thunderous. Each dress told my story, loss, betrayal, redemption. Critics scribbled furiously, buyers leaned forward, and I felt Mom's presence, her art woven into every thread. The finale, a reimagined crimson gown, brought the house down. After the show, I stood with Nina and Tessa basking in the ovation. Nina hugged me, tears in her eyes. I'm so sorry, Cass, she said. You deserved this. I squeezed her hand, our friendship scarred but healing. Tessa grinned, her quiet strength my anchor. Evan and Lydia slunk away, their alliance in ruins. Dominic's absence was a relief. I'd outgrown him. I launched my own label that year, Blake Designs, with Tessa as my partner. We mentored young designers, offering the support Dominic never gave. Nina landed a major campaign, her career reborn, and we rebuilt our trust, one honest conversation at a time. The runway hadn't just been my redemption, it was my rebirth, a testament to resilience in a world that tried to break me.